now rocking with TDF everything. Spoiled Rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
It's me, Daniel,
And this is Ben.
on Spoiled Rotten. And today, we are spoiling the finale of X-Men 97 Season 2, Episode 9, Survival of the Fittest.
Yes.
We're here.
We did it.
We made it to the end. They made it to the end. It did feel like they were in a hurry, so I'm glad they made it there.
Yep. Immediately off the bat, I was wrong with an extended episode.
It is shorter than the last one.
It is shorter than the last one.
And it has an extra scene, and it's still shorter than the last one.
Yeah, I was so wrong. But that's not going to be the first time. So
Hey,
yeah.
listen, you were trying to help them out.
I was trying to help myself out. I was
Which
on the
in turn would have
copium
helped
train.
them out.
Yes, I was definitely on the copium train, and it didn't play out that way. It did play out the way they intended to, which is what we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. That is what we are going to talk about. This episode in particular, but obviously this season as a whole, now that we've seen everything, whether we thought it all came together or whether it was just a bunch of good episodes that happened to come out week after week. I think as a finale, it's certainly, I think it paid off what it was trying to do with Nightcrawler, which I'm conflicted about, but I can't deny that they had a plan for Nightcrawler and stuck to it.
Yes.
But how did you feel about this?
Well, I mean, it was tragic, especially the Nightcrawler thing toward the end. To me, it felt weird because without that post-credit scene that they had, it felt like a series finale more than anything else. You know what I mean? Obviously, it wasn't, but that's just
Like
how it
everything
felt.
got wrapped. Well,
Yeah,
Apocalypse is dead.
Yeah, Apocalypse is dead. The major villain of this season is done. They obviously set some stuff up for next season and all that kind of stuff in the post-credit, as well as throughout the I think it was episode 7 they were talking about with the Logan and Morph thing and all that kind of stuff.
I think that's like 5 or 6.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But the idea of like this didn't feel like a season finale. It felt like a series finale to me, which was a weird vibe to end on. But we obviously know that there's season 3 and 4 coming up. And one per year. So we'll be back again this time next year, hopefully.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were ready for next year, but that's good to know.
Well, that's what they're planning to do. Whether or not they execute is a different story. So
yeah. I don't think I was as positive as you on this. I thought that they had an ending. I don't know if it felt like everything that they set up was properly addressed.
Sure.
Including Morph and Wolverine, but
yep.
I would say pretty much anything that wasn't related to Nightcrawler and Rogue was not properly fleshed out or
I would agree
addressed. But that, as I said, doesn't really matter because I do think they had some strong episodes this season. So it wasn't a complete bust that way. I don't think it was as cohesive.
Yes.
The first scene is Cable really setting the table here, being like, look, the woman who raised me, who I'm assuming he means his mother, Ascani, said it's my destiny to kill Apocalypse, not stop, not reason with, but destroy,
kill.
like annihilate. And that makes sense within this episode. I think some stuff happens later where I'm like, I don't know, it feels like you're still going to get what you want out of this if you just listen to your parents, but I understand that putting this scene up top is supposed to put you in the mind state of he's like, no, I got this one thing to do. And we do have the context of last episode. He didn't take the shot when he had it because his mom was in the way. So he's even more motivated now to just get it done. And he won't let his parents get in the way, literally or metaphorically this time either. So I appreciate that as a writing thing, even though when we get to that scene, I still have some quibbles about the execution of it.
For sure.
Basically, he is saying, I'm supposed to take out Apocalypse, but it has to be Gambit because Apocalypse is in there and it's taking over. I think it's not a clock, but they have like a progress bar throughout the episode of like,
there's a
when
percentage
will
thing.
he take over?
Yeah.
And so he's just like, yeah, this is what's happening. He's in there, and just like Professor X said last episode, as soon as he is Apocalypse, when I say he, I mean Apocalypse takes over, that's it. There is no more Gambit, so we pretty much have to just treat this like it's not Gambit because he calls them mind games, so it's hard for me to say anything other than mind games, but all the like mind power stuff that Professor X has is not going to hold. That is something even Professor X has acknowledged in the previous episode, but Cable knows it too. Yeah. It's happening. They can't control this. They can't contain it. So that's that. And then we cut to Gambit. No, we don't. Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Beast. They're on a cool ship underwater, and they go back to ship.
Yes.
And Beast gets to be useful. He sets up ship so that ship can talk to them again. And he's like, Rogue is like, anyway, the reason we did this is so that you owe us a favor now.
Yeah.
Now tell us how to beat Apocalypse. And ship is like, I got nothing for you. You're just gonna have to die.
Yeah, but it's like, we kind of like this Apocalypse guy, so just maybe we don't like your mission. Get out of here. Yeah.
And Beast is the one that's like, well, we're here to help a friend. And I don't even remember what Ship has to say to that, but I feel like Ship was pretty clear, like, I don't give a fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, this means nothing to me. Rogue goes into the shrine that Insebanur went into before he became Apocalypse. And I don't think it happens in this order, but I just put it all together. She is like, it is intense in there. Her skin is being ripped off.
Yeah, it's wild.
And the Celestial is just like, what are you doing?
You
understand, this is supposed to happen this way. We want Apocalypse, like you said. We want this to happen. And if your friend dies, that's, probably best case scenario.
Yeah. If your friend dies, he dies. That's it.
Yeah. And Rogue tears up. And this is why I like Rogue. She's so passionate about the people she cares about as a character who can't be physically intimate with people. And I don't just mean sex, like even as simple as hugging somebody. Yeah. She can't do that. So she feels a bit bigger than sometimes you would want her to, especially in this case when you're like, come on, just relax. Relax. You picked my Magneto anyway. But she is like, no, you've never met Remy. He would fight for me. I'm going to fight for him. And she tries to punch him, which I did see the futility in, but I appreciated that she was like, I'm not just going to let this happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something. Even though it's very clear this will do nothing.
Yeah.
But that works out for her. The Celestial's like, whoa, so you're just going to try that anyway, huh?
He's like, oh, I respect your hustle.
He's like, all right, then you die. She's like, yeah, I'll do it. He's like, if you take this power. Oh, yeah, sorry. He took out the orb that Gambit gave her last episode.
Yeah.
And then created a new one for her.
Yeah, because Celestial was like, this belongs to us. This isn't yours.
Yeah.
We'll give you yours. And then
so you use this, it'll be one last fight, and you can get what you want out of this, but it means you have to die.
Yeah.
And she's fine with that. I'm not, because I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
Can't someone, we know how the episode ends, but we'll get there. I was like, no, Rogue, don't.
Yeah, this is a bad idea.
I don't want to swap him out for you.
Yeah, and it's just like, and now if that were to go through, then guess what? He's in a world of pain. You know what I mean? It's just like it's not helpful to anyone. So it's a bad decision, but love is not rational.
Yeah, and as I said, of the characters that do things that are ill-advised, I appreciate her run at it because it is based in a human connection that she has. So I appreciate that, even though it's, as you just said, that's not going to make him happy knowing you died.
Yeah.
But she has to do that, and I respect it.
Yeah.
this is where it cuts back to, again, I'm doing all the rogue stuff. I don't even know if this is how it plays out in the episode.
It definitely isn't, but you're like, making it much more condensed as a talking point, for sure.
So it cuts to Beast and Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler's praying, and it's not looking great for them. I think they're like, she's been in there a long time. Mm-hmm. We know that Insabanur came out pretty quickly.
Yep.
But she does come out, and Nightcrawler's like, yes, sister, you did it. And I definitely was like, oh, she's just going to walk by them because she's not human anymore or something. Yeah. But no, she was like, no, I love you. Thank you so much for keeping the faith. Mm-hmm. And I think he realizes she might say something, but I think he's just like, I think it's the way she's like, you know, she's essentially saying goodbye.
Yeah, it is a goodbye. Yeah.
She's not explicitly saying, I'm going to die now, but she is talking as if she's like, this, if I had only one more chance to tell you something, this is it. So I'm going to tell you what I need to tell you. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate how it dawns on Nightcrawler, like, oh, that's what she did. She went in there so that she could save his life by giving up her life.
Yep.
And that's no good for him or for me as a big Rogue fan.
Yeah, same. I was devastated by that.
Then we see Forge, and he's like, X Factor's coming. And I'm like, that's true, man. I thought he was going to be a bit more worried considering what actually happens, but he's just kind of like, all right, here we go. And I don't feel like this season has given him much reason for me to believe that he should be as calm as he is about this.
Yeah, no, I really agree with you on that one.
I'm like, what is your plan, my guy? I don't think he does anything during the fight. Mm-hmm. And I only say that because they made him be the person who noticed. You know, you're thinking like, oh, he's got some plan here, but no, he didn't have a plan. And I
just didn't have enough screen time at all, which sucks.
Yeah. I mean, especially since you're thinking, oh, they started the season with him being like, I'm going to go get the love of my life. And then that's just not a factor for the rest of the season.
Well, I mean, it is a fact. And this is, I think this is why love is so hard to write. It's just like, when you're happy, it's not interesting anymore. The conflict is done. You got him happily after kind of deal.
But it doesn't have to be happily ever after.
I know it doesn't have to be.
That could be like, oh, now they have to figure out what life is like when they're not torn apart.
Yeah, because that's the biggest thing. Like, that discussion they had in that episode, or I forget which episode it is, I'm not going to try to guess, but Forge goes like, oh, have we ever thought about how this is actually going to work out? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, all that kind of stuff.
I'm a man of science, you're a god. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying they have to break up, but there is meat on the bone still.
It
isn't like, oh, they just got together and that's all we wanted.
Right.
You still need to, you could still see them interact and have other challenges in life, even if it's internally created or externally.
Yeah. I mean, just the sheer fact of living together. It's like, oh, you leave the toilet seat up. Like, that in itself will create the conflict in some silly capacity, but it's enough to be like, yeah, not happily ever after. But you're right, in the sense where Forge and Storm don't really get anything much to do after that talk.
Yeah. It was a bit of a bummer, but
yeah,
you know
huge
what?
Bummer.
Yeah, we'll just move on from that. Professor X, I gotta say, one of the less offensive episodes for Professor X. He's straight up like, what are you doing, Val? We've got this under control.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you don't. You have a weapon of mass destruction. I'm like, hey, you can't call him a weapon of mass destruction. And he's like, what? It's fine. I have it under control. You don't have to be here. Mm-hmm. And even Alex, it's Havoc. Mm-hmm. It's like, we shouldn't be doing this. This is a bad idea. This is a bad look. It's going to be declaring war on mutant kind. And Val's just like, not mutant kind, just Professor X. And
Professor
X. Again, more time with Val probably would have been great.
Yeah.
Fleshing out this anger she has towards Professor X. I mean, if they're trying to make her nuanced, is what I'm trying to say. If she's not just, I just hate mutants. If they're trying to make it seem like she's putting on a facade, or because it just seems like it's pretty cut and dry. She doesn't like mutants, and she's trying to fuck with them.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like she gets enough screen time for that to be compelling.
She doesn't, and I'm going to talk more about her once we wrap up the episode recap and all that kind of stuff, for sure.
But I think, yeah, also there's like a hint of the juice I liked from last season when she gets annoyed with Professor X and be like, when are you going to understand? I'm trying to protect you and your people. Yeah. And you just keep fucking shit up. And I'm like, yeah, this is the stuff I liked from the first season that, if you ask me, is completely devoid. Yeah. Or completely ripped out of this season.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in this season at all, which is stupid.
I obviously, as a black person, saw it as conversations that black people would have, but I feel like there's room for any person who feels marginalized to see themselves in the conversations that happened last season. And this moment here, the white woman in particular being upset that you're not being the right kind of cause for her to help. Yeah. Whether you're black or another marginalized group, come from another marginalized group. That is the stuff that I thought took season 1 over the top of being something special. Yeah. I don't mean that this season is bad. It's just there is that initial bummer that's not part of it, which I noticed in the first 2 episodes we spoiled. But seeing hints of it here made me be like, come on, like this is what is special about these characters, but the show, the X-Men 97 show in particular, not just X-Men at that point, but what X-Men 97 was able to explore. Yeah. Which is completely available to them to explore in this season as well, especially if you're bringing back characters like Graydon Creed and having Val Cooper in the shadows, so to speak. But yeah, I think, I know we've kind of stalled on this, but just not having more time with Havoc and Val Cooper, maybe in philosophically disagreeing with each other and seeing, because I know the people on Heroes Reforged were like, I wish there was more Havoc, because right now he's just a dick, and I don't really want him to have a turn like Polaris does, but I don't know if I feel that way, but I do feel like, he doesn't come off as interesting until later with Jubilee, but I'm just like, oh, you are just there being like, yeah, we'll do it, I guess, until this episode where he's like, no, don't, and then he's like, yeah, I guess we're doing it anyway.
But I mean, like, I think the interesting thing between Havoc as well as Val is the idea that Havoc, being a white man at the end of the day, will go along with what Val is saying as a white woman and all that kind of stuff, regardless of the differences that they have in regards to that identity. So obviously Havoc being a mutant, Val not being a mutant, and all that kind of stuff, but will still side with race in that regard. I think that was an interesting thing that was done, even though there was a mini protest. How much of a protest really was it? It's just like, okay, is Havoc being performative in that moment? Which I believe he is. And that, to me, was a nuanced thing, but like you said, that challenge with Val not being as nuanced, that part sucked. But I thought that interaction, but I will admit, that's me digging in to it to get there.
I don't think he's being performative. I just think they didn't give enough time to show how many times he's had to have those, I don't even mean conversations, but have to hear her say some fucked up shit. Right. And be like, and then reason I say have more of it is so that you can build up to a moment where he has that pushback, even though you know it's not going to be a big pushback, but any kind of step in the right direction after seeing him actually struggle with what she says. And it doesn't have to be a verbal thing on his end. It is good animation. You can put it in his face that he's upset by what she's saying, but I don't think they went that route.
They did.
Sorry, I don't think they didn't go that route, and I think that was a mistake.
Yeah, it definitely is a mistake in that regard, because you're right. What I would have liked to see Havoc do is draw a line in the sand at some point in time, and then Val be like, well, I'm going to get this other guy to do it instead, because that's what would really happen in all that, in that kind of scenario, right? Just look at the actual events of Ice, and that guy that didn't wear the mask was like, yeah, okay, we'll pull you out, we'll put someone else in here instead. It's just a machine that's rotating and all that kind of stuff. Right. So to me, I very much agree with you. Like, I wish they did dive in more and deal with that. The unfortunate reality of that request would have been more time spent with X-Force, and I don't think I would have liked that. X-Factor, and I'm not sure I would have liked that as an alternative either, but it is still a little bit more compelling.
It comes down to a fight with them, so I would actually like more time with them, because they just have, like, two members that don't talk. Right, or get half a line out before they're shut off. It is a weird proposition to be like, these people stand for something that we can all see as ICE, and we're not going to. And I don't just mean talking, but they don't have even a lot of screen time.
No,
they're just constantly, which isn't the experience of ICE. You do see them around. That's the problem.
Yeah,
you see them, and you see them intimidating, as opposed, and maybe that goes to the writers' room not actually wanting this to be ICE. But then, if they don't actually want it to be ICE, then this should be a group of people that we actually have an opinion on.
Yeah.
Other than they're just there, and they are the antagonists. You should. I don't mean like make us like them or make us hate them, but you should give them enough screen time for me to care one way or the other about them.
Right. Because this is not a neutral thing. This is very clearly sided towards the government and all that kind of stuff, which is oppressive in its own nature. So it didn't have the teeth to dig in to the things that they're actually highlighting this season. And I think a lot of that has to come down with the removal of Beau DeMaio and all that.
Which is unfortunate that it's not like they removed every black creative voice from it.
Right.
But there very obviously was one that, by accident or not, was able to tap into something, I'll just keep saying special, and that was ripped out. And obviously we know that Disney has been scaling back on black stories, and maybe there was part of that. I know they were one of the first companies to get rid of DEI when they didn't have to do it anymore. So again, I'm acknowledging there are black people on the show, like Larry Houston, one of the directors. I'm sure there's more people in the writers' room, but given where they landed, when I know I keep doing something I don't like that other people do, which is we'll get to that later, but I don't want to cut our feet out from under us by talking about that now. When we get to what my issue is overall with the finale, it stands in contrast with the more progressive, left-leaning talking points of the first season.
Yeah,
and so I feel a way about it.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be surprised by what you have to say based on this and all that kind of stuff, because you're right. This season in its entirety is more centrist in regards to its political affiliations, not willing to take a stance on anything realistically and just trying to be like, hey, let's just all get along, guys. And I'm like, no, you can't when one side's trying to kill the other. Like, you can't be a centrist in that kind of situation.
Yeah, and I would say it's probably more close to just straight up conservative, right wing, with the Christian faith stuff being so prevalent.
Oh, very much so. Yeah,
but
very, very much with the Nightcrawler stuff.
So that's the Val and Professor X thing of that showdown, and her being like, "No, we're coming for you," and she gets Cable to hack the system so they're able to get in.
Yep.
And Wolverine's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, we're gonna fight both of them." I'm like, I mean, yeah. That's what you guys do. I don't know why you're so excited about this.
Yeah.
But I guess you're happy you got your adamantium back, so good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Then we go to Bishop and Polaris, and I like this scene because Bishop is saying, "Oh man, like, probably sucks to go fight your old team," and as was her arc over the season, well, basically just one episode. It's like, no, I think I was always an X-Man, so this is good. I'm on the right side. I feel good about this.
Yep.
And X-Factor shows up, which is like strong guy. I want to say this is Wolfsbane, even though I've heard people say it's not Wolfsbane.
It is Wolfsbane. It's gotta be.
I mean, I can't remember the character's name, but there is another character that looks exactly like that character. But I think when she spoke, she had a Scottish accent almost.
Right.
They didn't really try. She got half a line, but I think that makes it Wolfsbane. But who knows?
Yeah. Multiple Man.
And Siren's there, and Multiple Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not going well for Bishop and Polaris. And I like that Bishop even points out to Strong Guy, you know that we can't really put a dent in each other. And that seems true for Strong Guy, as in he can't put a dent in Strong Guy, but he does seem like he's getting beat up. Like Bishop is kind of like, oh, and I'm like, I mean, Strong Guy's not doing that, so I think you might be wrong about this one.
Right.
But Strong Guy is like, well, yeah, what do you want us to do about it? He's like, well, we should talk. And I'm like, that would be nice, but I think he's still beating you up, man. I think you actually are feeling these punches. But yeah, he is activated by trying to save Polaris when they've got Polaris pinned down. And don't worry, the fully clothed Gambit, who was in a hospital bed and didn't need a gown or easy access to anything, is ready to fight.
Yeah,
he's back, and he does some good fighting. I have to admit, I appreciated the moves he did and how it freed Bishop and Polaris up to do their thing as well. The importance of the X-Men being a team and not just a bunch of solo characters. So yeah, I appreciated how they were able to demonstrate that through this fight scene. That it worked better when it was more of a cohesive team instead of these solo efforts to save one another. Yeah, there was just a huge fight with the X-Men and the X Factor, which is merged with X Force at this point. But I feel like just calling them X Factor at this point.
I'm just gonna call them X Factor.
Yeah, so they're continuously just breaching all the different layers of defenses, and I'm just like, they did it, man. They did it. They're here. And Storm and Forge are in the air. Forge doesn't need to be there, but I'm glad he got screen time. Yeah. And Storm's like, oh my god, they have Sentinels piloted by humans. I gotta be careful. I did appreciate it. Seemed clunky, but I appreciate that there is that moment of her recognizing, I'm not trying to kill these humans. I'm going to do delicate things to get them out of the way, which she does, and then the show goes to the effort of showing you. And they've got parachutes, don't worry, they'll be fine. Yeah. Machines might be broken, but not the humans. But there's just so many Sentinels that I don't think it really matters.
I don't think it matters at all.
But I appreciated that touch. Cable's watching it all, and he's like, all right, time to go. I'm going to get Gambit. And he's confronted by his parents, Jean and Cyclops, who I really thought would have more to do this season, given their son is trying to kill their friend. Yeah. They're not, I mean, this is, we talked about it up top. This is where I'm like, I don't know why you can't listen to your parents in this situation. Well, specifically Jean. They're like, we can't let you do this. And he's like, I have to kill Gambit. And Jean says, well, we have a way to stop Apocalypse. I guess she said stop. She should have said kill. We don't have to kill Gambit. We can save Gambit and stop Apocalypse. And he's like, nope. And I'm just like, why not? Other than the wording she used, I don't know why you wouldn't explore that idea with them. Yeah. I don't mean have a conversation, but just like, if your plan is to shoot him in the head anyway, why not let them try?
Right. Because the argument could be made that they did try, Magneto did try, and it didn't work. I don't know how much of that Cable knows, but the idea of
he would know any of that, because nobody talked about anything this season other than this summer.
But it is one of those things where I'm like, Cable understands the task well enough. I get where Cable's coming from, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, this is just a really impossible situation right now. I do agree with you. I'm like, why not try? But at the end of the day, I'm like, clock's ticking. We've got that 100% thing where if thing comes in. Like, even Cable says this. It's just like, listen, if it's Gambit's life versus millions, it's going to be Gambit, like, every single time. And
right, but he doesn't... We don't, as an audience, know what they think they're going to do, and he certainly doesn't know what they think. That's what I mean, is that there was no curiosity there into what do you think you're going to do. Even if he says it as a taunt, there was not even a, what do you think you could do differently?
It's just a flat-out no.
He's just like, no, I'm not doing that. And but you don't know what you're not doing. Other than hearing the words, we can still save Gambit, and having a wholesale rejection of that, which seems odd. I didn't understand that part. I get what you're saying. There's a bunch of factors, like he knows that there's a time issue, but there are people that he wants to have a relationship with, but it doesn't really matter. It's like he would acknowledge they're the good guys.
Yep.
They're saying we can get this done where everyone wins, and he's just like, no, which is a weird choice for someone who says he's trying to save everybody. I'm gonna take out this one life so that I can save. He's not doing it because he likes to kill. He's doing it because like this is what's gonna save everybody. Right. And they're saying there's an option where we don't even have to kill our friend. And so he's just like, no.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird choice, and honestly, I'm just like, yeah, feels like Cable's just being lazy at this point. He's just like, yeah, let me just shoot him, and then I can go home, and then we're good. It's just like, wait, he's not listening to anyone. In all fairness, he never really did listen to anyone. He was using, was it X-Force? Not X-Factor, X-Force as his own means of getting everything done.
Yeah, but he listened to Jubilee. But remember, he's like, you can get me what I want, which is the appeal that Gene is making. I still get you what you want, and we don't have to kill our friend.
Yeah.
And that's what Jubilee was doing, too.
Yep.
So, it was, again, I understand that you can argue that this is closer to being on the line, but it's not like he hasn't listened to reason with the understanding he'll still get what he wants out of the situation.
Yeah.
So I just found it weird. Because it was like,
yeah, what? I think that the countdown ticking bomb thing is the one thing that makes me go like, yeah, it makes sense to me, but at the same time I'm like, hey, I'm on your side. I wish he just like, hey, parents, what do you got to say? Like, just run it by me real quick. You know what I mean?
This is what, that's what I mean is, there should have been some curiosity.
Yes.
But I do appreciate that the episode starts with him saying this stuff, and we know that he already didn't take the shot. So there is all of that going against what I'm asking for. I just think that I would have appreciated him at least having that conversation, or not again, I don't even mean conversation, even if it's just to dismiss them, to say out loud, what could you possibly do differently? This is the only way.
Yeah, or just to be like, there's no time, or you know, or something like that. Because I think the one thing that confuses me about that choice is the fact that this season is going so far to be like, hey, yeah, Scott and Gene are having some sort of relationship with Cable. And Nathan and all that kind of stuff, and they're addressing that as messy as it is as they go along. And at this point in the season, I would think that there would be enough grace to be like, hey, let me listen to my parents, because they do care about me, they love me, and all this kind of stuff. This is a messed up situation, but my parents have everyone's best interest in mind, and all that kind of stuff. The fact that he doesn't do that and just straight up says no is just like, yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it comes off as odd because it feels like he's like, well, I just have to kill Gambit.
Yep. As
opposed to what I think he actually wants, which is to kill Apocalypse.
Yes.
So anyway, that is something I bumped up against.
Yeah, just a casualty is all he's thinking about. But yeah.
So he has to fight his parents.
Yeah,
it's a big fight. And at one point, even Val Cooper's like, hey, you know, this isn't going well. Are you going to join in? And he's like, I'm a bit busy. Have you ever met my parents? I appreciated that. And then he just blasts through.
Yeah.
And like destroys the building at a certain point. So we can get to Gambit. But
which is wild. That like anime shot that his gun made. I'm just like, what the hell is his gun capable of? This is ridiculous.
If I remember video games.
Yeah, seriously. It's got this like huge just blast radius and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what is happening? But sure, it does destroy the building. You're right.
Then they get to Psylocke and Angel, and they think they've cornered Wolverine, but it's Morph.
Yep.
Once again, what's he doing hanging out with Wolverine? And in the end shot too.
Yeah, the end shot is the really perplexing thing to me. This one they're just working
together again.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing?
I can understand them working together in a fight scenario.
I can't.
I really can understand that, because it's just like, yeah, okay, we have our emotions aside. We have to deal with this right now. I can understand that.
It doesn't come off that way at all, because they haven't had any. We haven't seen any interaction with them other than them just hanging out.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. I can understand that, but it's just like the show is, to me, sweeping that under the rug. You know what I mean?
It
By
doesn't
doing
even
stuff
feel like
this.
it's something that will be directly addressed next season.
Oh, I agree with you on that. It feels
like
very
like,
much
no,
swept under the rug. And that end shot that you're talking about, like, yeah, they seem real buddy at that point in time.
Yeah, so I,
you know,
as much as I appreciate that, it's like, no, I made you look, and he turns into Doc Ock, and that's really cool. And
yes.
Wolverine comes out, and Psylocke tries to mess with his head, and he's like, that's too bad, because this brain's already messed up.
Yeah.
This brain's already scrambled, I think he says. I do want to take some time to really bemoan the fact that I stuck up for that episode where people were like, this is just a filler episode.
Mm-hmm.
Only for them to act like it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Other than to get him his adamantium.
Yep.
It's like, why was a whole episode dedicated to that when there was a bunch of other stuff going in there that was Morph-centric?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I've misgendered Morph again in this conversation. I can already hear myself doing it. But yeah, that was a Morph-centric episode that deserved to have Morph be able to... They don't have to have anything resolved, but that was an important part of that relationship and the trajectory of that relationship. And as I said when we were talking last episode, it's as if that episode never happened.
Yeah, that's. I very much agree with you. I feel like it's going to get swept under the rug. I don't think there's. To me, I want there to be an episode next season addressing it. I realistically don't see that happening, especially with Bo DeMaio not having anything to do with season 3. So the idea of like, yeah, they're just sweeping it under the rug at this point in time, which sucks because Morph. That was such a good episode for Morph, and now it does feel like a filler episode, except for Wolverine got his adamantium back now. It sucks because it should have been flushed out to be so much more.
These are all cool things, and they, like always, did cool things as Morph, but it was tainted by me thinking, oh, so that episode wasn't there to seed something in this season, which I said it needed to be addressed again in this season, not resolved but addressed again. That is a big deal. That took a lot for Morph, and even if it was going to be what you said, which is Morph now has to understand that he can't be as close to the other people around him because Wolverine's always around. We don't even see that struggle. He's just around still. Sorry, they are just around still. And they don't seem to have any issues with this. And so it's not that I want them to be sad and depressed, but I do want the writers to follow up on that very interesting aspect they added with more.
I very much agree with you on that. Because now it just seems like they're buddy again and nothing ever happened. Which sucks.
Yeah. Especially since I feel like we can both point to characters that didn't get enough screen time, and to have that episode where it's characters that don't move forward other than Wolverine and Morph, it needs to count for more than just, and that's how Wolverine got his adamantium back. That needs to be, he got his adamantium back, but he lost someone close to him. He got his adamantium back and realized he needed to change how he interacts with someone who's close to him.
Right.
They didn't go that way.
No, they did not. They did not.
Then we have a scene I genuinely appreciated because it was Havoc not being a complete asshole.
Yeah.
His dogfight with Jubilee, where it seems like it's more them just playing around. Having a good time in the fight where they're like, we don't really want to hurt anyone on this, so we'll just do this. This is what we'll do, because now we don't have to hurt anybody we don't want to hurt. He's pushing her. I like that he says, oh, look who got their learner's permit, kid. And he's like, and Julie is like, do not call me kid. She does the initial flares out of the Blackbird, but then shoots out and does her own flares. I'm like, again, great use of Jubilee. So good. And then when she uses her powers to like just readjust a bit to get actually back into the Blackbird, I'm like, sick stuff. But I had appreciated that throughout it did feel like Havoc trying to push Jubilee to be better and not actually take her out, and that he ultimately is like, good work, Jubilee. Like that was actually good because she gets the best of him. To be clear, I like her line of "that looks like it's gonna hurt tomorrow."
Yeah.
I have seen other people complain that we are going yet another season where the brothers don't acknowledge that they're brothers, Cyclops and Havoc.
That family tree is so convoluted. I don't even care if they don't do that.
Well,
it's weird.
As I said up front, up top, I wanted more with Havoc because they have him around. So
they should use him
he
properly.
Can struggle with his relationship with his brother, or he can struggle with his the problem that he works for someone who doesn't see him as a worthwhile being.
Yep.
He has a couple options. He doesn't just have to be there to not push back.
There's a lot to flesh out with Havoc for sure. It is weird for sure.
So yeah, I was very put off by that, but I not the brother thing. It was just I wanted to recognize it as another thing that they could have dug into with him.
Yeah.
I was more worried about the Val Cooper stuff, but I would not be opposed to Cyclops having to deal with another family member that he's estranged from, or on opposing sides. Because I think this is the best place to put it. I also felt like Cyclops got majorly sidelined this season.
Oh, God,
and he had such a strong season last year because of, one, he did cool things, but two, he felt like he was the one embodying that marginalized person of the frustration that you have when you have to be 10 times better than everyone and you're trying to save everyone and they're still going to shit on you and you have to act a certain way. All of that is stripped out this season, and he is the closest to being just the boring Cyclops that we knew this season, and it's a bummer. He has his moments, but in general, I'm like, yeah, he's just back to this.
Yeah, and you know the weird thing is, I feel like all the X-Men got sidelined this season. You know what I mean? It felt
that's actually true.
It felt like this whole season was about Apocalypse, which I don't hate. But at the end of the day,
he was sidelined too because he's not actually there.
Because it wasn't consistent enough or actually there and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like it just felt like all the X-Men in this season were sidelined. And that was just such a weird thing to me because I'm looking back at this. I'm like, I've definitely complained about Storm not getting enough time. Definitely, like, Wolverine's there an appropriate amount of time, in my opinion. Morph got more than I thought. Beast is just like, what the hell's going on with Beast right now? Because it's just like, are you even a character anymore? What's happening? Jean got a decent amount to do in a few episodes, but not throughout
fighting
the whole thing.
wise, but not. I mean, unless we want to just like, well, she was a good mother, but as her own character, it didn't feel like she had much to do.
Exactly. It felt like she needed to service the role as a mother or a wife, and I'm just like, yeah, that's the part that sucks. It's like, make her own character. Like, you know, don't make her attached to a man.
Season.
Yeah, exactly. Like last season she was, and like you said, the interview that Cyclops gave last season was such a big thing that I was just like, I'm starting to like Cyclops, and this season just rolled everything back.
Or the fact that he was like, I want to leave, but I don't know if I should, and then he gets upset that Xavier left the school to Magneto. All of these things where I'm like, interesting stuff. And unfortunately, I'm just not a Professor X fan, so he gets the most to do this season. And
I agree with you. I'm just like, that's the part that stunk.
And I'm also acknowledging that the season really did want to just come down to a Rogue, Gambit, and Nightcrawler story.
Yes.
But they're not around for a lot of the beginning of it.
Yeah.
So it just feels uneven to me. The way that
it's wildly uneven.
They meted out the plot or the story beats throughout the plot. Yeah. Especially with who they wanted to focus on. Because I did not see that coming based on the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, same.
I've seen people say that that's a plus. That they didn't see coming. I'm glad that worked for them. For me, I just felt like, this seems very inconsistent.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
I didn't love that, but it was, as I said, there were still great episodes in the bunch. Yeah, apparently this is actually where Bishop and Polaris fight all those people, but it doesn't matter. I already talked about that. Then Cable comes down, knocks them out, and it's just Cable and Gambit. And I thought, what a great time for Professor X to do something.
Yep.
Like, no, he just said, Nathan, don't. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Come there's got to be something you can do here.
We know there's something he can do. He can just like, hey, I'm going to move this away from you or move you two apart or whatever. He's
If he can't get into Cable's head, he could move the gun or something. I don't know.
He could cause it to jam, go with safety mode, just do whatever. But it's just like the idea of him being like, no. I'm like, oh, clutch your pearls even more. All right? Frickin' Professor Xavier.
Yeah. Bishop just gets shot right in the head.
Yep. Which was wild. I was like, whoa, they did that. They did that headshot. Yeah.
Oh man, it's been a rough day. I think you might have
said Bishop.
Yeah,
by
I think I said Bishop. I meant Gambit.
Yeah, but it was wild. I'm like, oh, a freaking headshot. That's crazy. They did it in a very Disney safe way. But
they did it in a safe way.
Just still a headshot. I'm like, god damn. That's
point blank headshot.
Yeah.
My question was, what made you think that would work?
Yeah.
It's not like a special gun from what I can tell. Maybe it is. I wouldn't know. The show wasn't that interested in getting into the nitty-gritty other than he's got to kill him.
Yeah.
But I would say one of the least surprising things is that Gambit Apocalypse showed up right after. That's obviously because you know that this episode's not done, but also that Apocalypse never actually came back.
Yeah.
But even as Cable, wouldn't you think I gotta perform some kind of ritual or something?
Yeah,
basically what my parents said, which is extract the two and then deal with it. Because just shooting him in the head, I feel like if you were worried that Apocalypse was going to take over when he was in a coma, wouldn't only blowing his head up be the solve? You didn't blow his head up.
Yeah.
Like it looked like a concussive blast, because I know it's a kid show, but I mean it's not technically a kid show, but it's not rated R, so his head didn't explode, but there wasn't even any bruising on him.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was like, oh, you knocked him out again.
Yeah. It felt like a flashbang to the face or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that kind of effect, as opposed to an actual lethal shot. I'm just like, okay, well, I get why he thought a headshot would take care of the situation.
No, that makes sense. It didn't look like anything happened, and later on in the episode, we see someone get shot, and there's like a smoking hole coming out of them.
Yeah.
So even if you don't want to show Gambit's face with a hole in it, wouldn't he be looking for some kind of smoking body after a shot like that?
There should be some sign that damage has been done.
He very confidently is like, it's done when Val Cooper checks in. And I understand, I'm aware of how these types of stories go, but it just felt, why would that be something you're confident saying?
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, like, I mean, if X Factor thought about it a little more, like, so we're going to do this, and then what do we do to actually kill Apocalypse? We neutralize the threat of Gambit, but what are we going to do about Apocalypse? But it's not a thing, and then a cool Apocalypse Gambit shows up, or not shows up, is resurrected.
Yeah. It does look cool.
Yeah,
it
looks
so cool. Gambit got some really cool character designs this season.
And he just talks like Apocalypse now, which makes sense. I'm not saying that's funny. Wolverine seemed to think it was funny, but...
Yeah. I thought it would have been funnier if they like tried to do the Cajun accent with the Apocalypse voice. I'm like, no, we're not being serious right now, are we? That's ridiculous.
It had to be, because in Sabinore's voice changed too. So I was like, it has to just... For consistency, it has to just be the Apocalypse voice.
Yeah. And for clarity as well.
But then he takes over the X-Men, It seems like just so you can say the line that he said earlier, which is the things you love will be the ones that destroy you. And I'm like, surely we can spend more time on this. Like this, for it to feel like more of a threat. Does Professor X say no or now?
I can't remember, to be perfectly honest.
It sounds like he's saying now to Rogue, who he said earlier on he couldn't sense, and Jean couldn't sense either. And I didn't know if that was part of their plan. Because actually, in this case, it looked like X-Men did have a plan, not Forge, but at least Professor X. But he also, next line is, they will be the ones who save me. So I'm like, did he say no or now? Because it sounded like now, but grammatically it makes more sense if he said no. But you don't have an answer for me.
I don't have an answer for you.
I'm not going to read any comments that tell me
because
later.
Anything involving Xavier I have to tune out for, because I'm just like, oh god, this guy again.
But yeah, Rogue comes back. We already saw the look.
Yes.
But it's new to everyone there.
Yeah.
And
I will say the look reminds me of the Wonder Woman.
Like 1984 one where she's all gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of very much of that piece, because the headband has that W too. And I was like, oh, interesting choice here.
Well,
but yeah,
she very easily turns the tide.
Yeah.
The way the Celestial was talking, he made it seem like she was actually gonna have to fight, but it was not a fight at all. She just got down there, and then was like, "All right," touched him, did what she needed to do, put Apocalypse in a orb, is the best way to put it for me. Gives it over to Cable and is like, I'm sorry I guess you did get to kill Gambit, so you got what you wanted out of that, but here is also Apocalypse. You've had your whole life to think about what you're going to do with this, so I'll leave that with you. And then Gambit's like, yeah, you saved me. And this is where I'm thinking, okay, this is where she drops dead. But no, she gets to kiss Gambit until the glow goes away. And she's like, oh, but they said there was going to be a sacrifice, and this is where she sees, slightly to the right of Gambit, Beast holding on to Nightcrawler's Bible. And I'm like, oh,
without Nightcrawler there.
Oh, well, if Beast is holding it, then that's an issue. It wouldn't matter. Like, yeah. So then we cut to the conversation that Nightcrawler had with the Celestial, who's like, what, are you going to try and challenge me? He's like, no, I'm just going to take her spot. And the Celestial is just on a roll of, like, whatever, man, sure. Yeah. It seemed so important before, but now Celestial's like, yeah, okay. You want to do this now?
Yep.
As long as someone dies, I don't give a fuck. But
it's very true. That's the energy the Celestial's giving. It's like, I don't care.
Rogue had to try to punch him and get burnt up. Yeah. Nightcrawler is burnt, I will give him that, but he is just kind of like, no, I'm just gonna die for her. And he's like, sure. Okay. Yeah.
And I like that it just confuses the Celestials, like, but how can you be so certain that what you're doing is planting
he goes
seeds
on this
for
run.
Joy?
Yeah, he's just on this run. They're gonna grieve at first, but then that'll plant seeds for great memories and positivity. We've already established it. He's a man of faith, so doesn't really
he doesn't
matter.
Actually think he's completely annihilated. He thinks there's an afterlife. So I
thought he just was like, I'm the martyr.
I mean,
So
sure.
This is because he's talking about it as in like their memories of me are what's gonna bring forward the positivity. So it is pure martyrdom. I don't know. I mean, sure, he believes in an afterlife, but it is pure martyrdom that he's describing here.
True.
Yeah, we see how they move on. That Morph and Wolverine are hanging out in the kitchen.
With Wolverine looking up very lovingly at Morph too. Yeah. So that's the part that bothers me. It's just like, okay, so that one shot where they're all in the kitchen having coffee, and those are good moments, right? They're not fighting anymore. They get to enjoy peace. They get to enjoy each other. They get to be a family. That's great. But if you're gonna have that conflict between Morph and Wolverine end the way it did in that episode, and then you have one of the final shots of Wolverine and Morph looking up lovingly at each other, that's bullshit.
Agreed.
That's absolute bullshit to me, because I'm just like, no, no, we need to figure out what actually happened there. The audience is owed that if you're going to put that episode in. Because it's just like, I can live in a world where Wolverine's like, yeah, you actually mean something to me. I'm going to admit this and all that kind of stuff. And now they're repaired and good. Great. But realistically, it hasn't happened. I'm like, no, I'm expecting Morph to be off with someone else doing something. Like how Professor Xavier was pictured actually teaching with the other guy that did the like purple thing. Like if Morph was doing something to teach the children away from Wolverine, and Wolverine's just like hanging out by himself, I'm like, that's way more appropriate to me with where they ended
that Morph found purpose outside of
exactly
just being Wolverine's sidekick, which is what he is a bunch of times after they have that conversation.
Absolutely. So to me, I'm just like, they did something great with that episode, but they did Morph dirty afterwards, and we deserve better from that.
I agree. But yeah, this is, I guess, where I'm conflicted. I understand how this fits completely into Nightcrawler's character.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's reason to believe that the writers know he's wrong. But it is presented like he's right, meaning that they opted out of the social commentary on how marginalized people are treated for what happened in slavery, which is just use religion, you'll be fine.
Yep.
Like that, you'll be fine with everything if you just put it under the guise of this Judeo-Christian religion. And it's like, well, I have a big problem with that. I think that if we're losing the commentary that I liked and was special for this more right-leaning, just trust in God thing, that's kind of a bummer.
It's a huge bummer. It angers me so much. It really, really does. Because it's just like, religion has been used as a tool of oppression to marginalize people to keep them oppressed for such a long time. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's so many people talking about this, how the church gets in the way of liberation of an oppressed population, because the church will do things that are like, just pray and God will show you the way, or something like that. They'll like excuse all the
schools.
Things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it is.
There's so much oppression that comes with religion, and the fact that they ended on. And don't get me wrong, I still love the character of Nightcrawler. I still very much love that kind of stuff and his faith, and it makes sense to his character. But to be like, that's the thing that brings everyone else their joy, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Because it was never a part of their life. It was just a part of Nightcrawler's life. You know what I mean?
Even that this season, he even had like the priest's collar.
Yes.
Which I don't think was in the last season, but maybe it was.
I don't think it was either. I
mean,
can't remember the character.
He did do something religious in the last season, so maybe it was there. But
yeah, maybe
it stuck out this season to me. Of like, is that always there? And then the way they ended, I'm like, oh yeah, this is where we were always going. So I want to make it clear, I don't think it's just out and out bad. I am genuinely conflicted. Maybe that's a good thing that it's challenging me in that way. But I brought up earlier the chasing conservative audiences earlier that Disney has been doing, and so this doesn't feel as good. It's also why I was kind of like, when you guys were like, oh, they're not putting Daredevil in the church, I'm like, I don't think they actually have a problem with doing that at Disney. I think they would want to do more of that. So I found it odd that they didn't do it that much in Daredevil because of what I know about what they're trying to do and who they're trying to court.
Yeah. Which is a weird business decision. It really is such a weird business decision that they're doing it like that.
Well, but it's that famous Michael Jordan quote, right? Like, Republicans buy shoes too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I think, I'm sure people don't like this aspect of this episode, but I think that when you look at the political spectrum, I wouldn't say left, but people who vote Democrat and think that's left will do whatever. Like, they're just gonna sit there and take it, and you do actively have to seek out the Republicans and get their buy-in.
Yep.
So, yeah, I appreciate the writing aspect of it, I think that there is a bit more of an insidious thing going on, but I can't fully prove it. It just feels bad.
It's a vibe shift for sure. This whole season.
So yeah, that is the conflict. Is I understand writing wise what they did and how it is a good payoff, but politically, it doesn't feel, and philosophically, it doesn't align with me, which isn't always a bad thing. But when it's positioned as the answer, I'm like, oh, but that's not where we were last time. So
yeah, because at that point we're getting into propaganda territory. We just are at that point in time to manufacture like this is the savior of this and all that kind of stuff, and that's what we need right now. I'm like, no, that's propaganda. So that's what I don't love about it. It's just the idea of like, and this would have been out of character because I've been thinking about this a lot today when I watched it. Is like if Nightcrawler was just like because love and all that kind of stuff. If he just that to me would have like yes, great,
because that's what Rogue was doing.
That's
what
exactly.
I liked. It was that her actions were done out of love for the actual people around her and not just this. And I know I'm not choosing my words carefully here because yes, very clearly he says he's doing this so that the people he knows can feel a way. But it in execution does not feel as rooted in them as the Rogue decision.
I very
her
much
saying
agree with
you never met Remy LeBeau. You know that that wouldn't be better if he died, or is different than my death will help my friends. I just have faith that that's gonna work.
Yeah, and that's why I brought up the afterlife thing. Is the idea of like the sacrifice, in my opinion, means less when you think there is an afterlife versus the sacrifice meaning what Rogue did would have been like no, it's just emptiness and blackness afterwards and all that kind of stuff. So like to me it very much is a weird tonal shift based on this whole season of what X-Men 97 is doing now, and it's very unfortunate because it just changed the vibe of this whole show to me. Even though it is well written, we have still a lot of the representation on the writers and all that kind of stuff, but the person steering the ship is corporate, and corporate interests are at the core of this as opposed to artistic.
I'll be clear. I never thought corporate wasn't steering the ship. I don't think that's the case. I think that there's this unfortunate thing where Beau DeMayo proved to be a key factor in the success of last season, which you would hope wouldn't be the case. You would hope that he could help steer it in the right direction, even though we all know they're owned by Disney and Disney's only going to let you go so far. But it seems like in their efforts to correct, they brought someone in who wasn't going to go that way.
Yeah.
So we find ourselves thinking that a lot of characters we liked from last season, or maybe just the whole cast, are not operating at the same level.
No, they're not. Which is a shame. Because I'm just like, what's season 3 gonna bring? What's season 4 gonna bring? Obviously, they kind of set up what that we're expecting from those 2 seasons. But to me, I'm just like, I'm a lot less excited about it because to me, I'm like, how are they gonna deliver those right-wing talking points of cops are our friends, they're not evil, and how are they gonna deliver? Well, they already did the religion thing. How are they gonna double down on that? And it's going to be so difficult because it's just like you clearly have a setup of President Creed right now in that post.
Well, let's talk about the scene. Let's talk about the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene is, I think everyone knows it's not actually Val Cooper, but Val Cooper looking at files, and we're hearing Val Cooper, it's Mystique. Mystique as Val Cooper is listening to the news, a video playing, saying, oh yeah, this President Kelly's conceded, that makes Graydon Creed the new president. This is a great win for anti-mutant people. And Mystique as Val Cooper scoffs and looks at her own file, and then the real Val Cooper comes in and is like, what's going on here? And Mystique shoots her. This is what we're talking about. That I don't even think they're saying that Val Cooper is dead, but she had a hole that was smoking coming out of her. So you're like, well, she's gonna be out of commission for a bit. and Mystique reads her file out loud of like, Mystique is determined to attack USA, and she's like, yep, that is true. So, as you said, there's a very clear nod to who the villain of next season will be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she'll be a 2-season villain. It seems like they do 1 villain per season. So that was the post-credit. And as I said, I'm glad they're doing something with Graydon Creed, because I didn't really want him to come back, but obviously they do have plans for him for next season. And Mystique is back. I was wondering where she was, but here she is.
Yeah, she was not present throughout this whole season or last season.
No,
right?
she was not. Yeah. So she's back, and that'll be interesting. Too bad she won't be able to talk to her.
Yep.
Well, she could probably talk to her one son, Graydon, but not Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. So,
who she tried to throw off a waterfall in the original series.
Yes, she did.
Ridiculous stuff.
So yeah, I think you were trying to get at. I don't know if they're gonna have overt messaging like that.
No.
Like you said about like cops are friends, because they've already made X Factor the bad guys, so that is their cop insert here. I think that what they've done is they've just made a cool superhero show.
Yeah.
There's some morality stuff in there, but we'll say it again, there was something special to the last season in the way that marginalized people could see themselves throughout the season and feel heard when certain characters say things that they've thought of. Like, now I'm just gonna talk about the first season, but like when Storm tells Jean, like, yeah, like I worry about having a kid that's a mutant, like that, and you're like, I'm not saying I had that issue, but that would be something that someone maybe who feels like they're differently abled or something, like, I don't want to pass that on to my kid. I don't want that issue. Like, it wasn't just the black thing, is what I'm trying to get at. That there was different ins for people, and even one conversation could feel like it applies to different people. That was not leveraged enough in this. If it is there, it wasn't meaningfully leveraged.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. In season 1, I felt like, oh my god, I'm hearing my own voice reflected back to me. This is wild stuff. I've never heard this before. And then this time, it's just like, oh, I'm hearing the voice that they want to hear, that they want me to say. You know, like that filtered of like, oh, please say it like this. It makes us more comfortable kind of thing. Like it's more acceptable for a conservative audience. And I'm just like, yeah, this is disappointing to me. It's been filtered. It's been sanitized. It's been whatever. It's not raw and genuine like it was in season 1. This season is just like, yeah, this feels like it be the Ben, or, you know, be the Asian guy that we expect you to be, not the Asian guy that you actually are, kind of deal. Which is, it's disappointing. It really is, because I'm going to use the word that you keep using. Season 1 was special. It was very, very special. And this is removed from that, because season 1 told a good superhero story, as well as flush out characters with very, very real personalities and motivated interests and ethics and morals and challenges that they face. This one was very much like, yeah, we're putting that all aside for just comic book stuff, which is a shame to me, because it's a huge loss to have all that representation lost. It still very much exists in season 1. No one's taking that away, but it just makes it so much more difficult to be excited for season 3 and 4 of this, aside from, cool, we're gonna get cool comic book stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah,
which I'm sure there's a group of people that really love that. And I know I'm not even saying there are people who like that the other stuff is gone, but that they feel like the comic book stuff was worth it.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, there's I mean, I would say the majority of the people are gonna be like, cool, comic book stuff, that's what we want. And I'm like, yeah, and that's what this show is. But the beauty of, I think, a lot of MCU stuff and superhero stuff in general
what superhero stuff can be.
What superhero stuff can be is, and this is what I've always said to people that laugh at the idea that I love MCU and comic book stuff. Superhero stuff isn't about exploring power fantasies. It's exploring how to maintain your humanity when it's so easy to lose it. You know what I mean? With powers and all that kind of stuff. Like it's such an interesting thing, because the moment anyone that's regular human in our world gets a sniff of power, enters like, ooh, I'm an executive director now, they instantly become someone completely different. And it's just like, that sucks. It sucks so much. So the idea of a superhero being like, nah, I'm gonna be human still, I just do these things because I can, that's so interesting to me, because that requires such a deeper moral compass than anything else that we ever see, and to me that's exciting. And it sucks that we're not gonna get nearly as much as that anymore.
Well, I mean, hopefully they find their way back to it in season 3, but as I said, it's not like what they're setting up would mean that they can't explore that kind of stuff, and this season definitely could have explored it. We'll see what they do. I'm obviously going to go into season 3 with adjusted expectations.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, I think you're right. I'm less excited about it, but I'm still going to be there because I still think it is a solid show. It's just not special.
Yeah, it's not as special as it was before. Because the idea of, and this is the big thing, like, I think it's very rare to revisit something, to do what Disney has done in this situation and make it better than the original. You know what I mean? Like the original series, like we talked about, it's only mid at best. The memories are better than the actual experience itself. Yeah. But this, I think the memories and what's actually being delivered for season 1 exceeded that. And that's really, really cool. Season 2 is still objectively better than the original series, but to me, I'm like, yeah, it's getting sanitized down. It's not great. I'm actively seeing the DEI stuff walked back, and that sucks so much.
Well, I mean, I want to be clear on what DEI meant in terms of hiring, but I can see them. I want to put it more as courting the more conservative crowd.
Fair enough.
So yeah, do you want to rate it, or do you have anything else you have to say?
Yeah. Let's rate this. One last thing I didn't get to say. I didn't get the long episode that I wanted, but I did get the opening sequence that I wanted.
Yes.
Where they had X Factor versus X-Men and Val doing the thing instead of Magneto. That was very, very cool. So I liked that. I wish they were more consistent with the whole opening sequence. Shake up this whole season.
I think you should watch them again. There's even an artist that said everyone is different.
Yes. Yeah, they are. But there was that one episode where I'm like, oh, they just went back to the original X-Men and all that kind of stuff. There's
always something different, though.
There is something different every single time, and I appreciate that. But it was like spot on, exactly what I wanted.
Okay, you want to rate it? I'm at.
You want me to go first?
Sure, go for it.
I'm giving this a 7.5.
Oh my goodness, we are at the same thing.
Are we really?
Yeah, we did it. We are cool. It rarely happens, but we are aligned on this. This was a 7.5. Right.
Yeah.
Hoping for better next season, and maybe my adjusted expectations will give it a higher grade, or maybe they're just going to prove that it's a sinking ship. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. I said we were going to have an answer for what we're going to cover next week. I'm just going to say we're going to do My Adventures with Superman, which I didn't realize wasn't 7 episodes. It's actually 10 episodes.
Oh, all right. Cool.
We'll do that, and then Cape Crusader, and then we'll catch up with Lanterns, which is coming out weekly, so we were going to do that in shifts anyway. But that's the upcoming schedule. We're going to do My Adventures with Superman. It'll be done by the time we record next, and then we'll do Cape Crusader, which will be weeks late, but based on my algorithm, no one else is talking about it anyway. And then Lanterns. Yeah. If you were thinking we were going to get into Lanterns right away, no. We got 2 more episodes before we get into Lanterns.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to, stay in touch, please go to tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten. You can also email spoiledpodcast@gmail.com. We are at TDF Spoiled on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, and of course, rate, review, subscribe on your podcast platform of choice, and share with your friends and follow. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.